Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to the very center of Moscow on Christmas Day here in Russia. And I thought today I'd show you what Russians do on Christmas Day here in Moscow and take you to a few of the Christmas markets and show you just what it's like in the center of Moscow today. What I plan to do is go for a walk through some of the markets and a few of the places where they've got some decorations and displays set up. And there is quite a lot throughout all of Moscow, but I thought I'd just go to a few of them and just give you an idea of what Russians do on Christmas Day here in Moscow and how they spend their holidays. Most of Russia now is on a 10-day holiday, depending on what job you do or where you work. So a lot of people, these are non-working days. And just have a look at the crowds at this market right here. They've got quite a lot of themes that they've set up, and it's themed around different television shows and the Russian movies, and lots of people want to try to stop for photographs. And what they've done, they've set up right here all the way along different scenes from different famous Soviet movies, and then you can actually stand in the set right here and reminisce about the TV show or the movie that you might have watched. And it's really super interesting during these 10 days throughout all of Russia. A lot of people will be watching some of these old TV shows and movies. They play them every day on the different stations, and you can literally watch them 2 or 3 times. You don't watch them any time throughout the whole year. Just right now, there's another one set up here with the gentleman with the pots, and then a few people waiting to get a photograph. And you can see lots of people who know these TV shows and movies feel like they're stepping into their childhood. Maybe they watched it many years ago, or they watched it just a few days ago. Have a look at how many people are here. Now, I'm going to keep saying that a fair bit because it really is very busy. And it's not cold today either. It's right on 0 Celsius. So it's very manageable to walk around with the weather. Unfortunately today it's not snowing. We want snow and cold. And then we come on a day like today when it's just cold. You do get that winter feeling though. This is real snow. They didn't bring this in from the movie studios. Along with the markets that they've set up, they also have lots of master classes, and there's a whole schedule here of events that you can come and attend, and most of it's focused around children, and they've got lots of craft events that they can get involved in. It's very easy. They can sign up for it, and most of the time you just turn up here and come to the different events, and the kids can make some decorations or different craft items that they can take home. It's all completely free. These events are held all throughout Moscow and Moscow region, so no matter where you might live, you can go to something perhaps a little bit smaller than this and a little bit quieter. But of course we all want to come into the center of Moscow and get involved. There's a very famous movie here with this shower scene, and then they've got some actors right here, and the 2 gentlemen invite the ladies to come into this scene, and there's actually a shower set up and a bath. And if anybody from Russia knows this movie, I think it'll make complete sense. And these actors play along. It is so nice. Let's see if I can get through a little bit further. For anyone that hasn't been to Moscow before or doesn't know where I am, this is literally just a few minutes walk from Red Square and the Kremlin. So there's a market here on the left-hand side, and then you can see the gates leading up to Red Square right there, and the market's off in the distance. You can't quite see it for all the crowds. That's the State Historical Museum, which is very well known. And then there is another market here, literally across from the Four Seasons Hotel. And what they've done is they've actually blocked off some of the entrances and exits into the square. And it's really more to manage the crowds. Otherwise there would be even more people. So they've actually set up some checkpoints, which is something they do every year, particularly on days like this. And it just slows everybody down a little bit, trying to get into the different markets. I might see if we can brave the crowd to go through this one right here. Actually, I've come to this particular part of Moscow in quite a few different videos. Back in summertime, they actually had a fish festival right here, and they do them also in autumn as well. And the amount of setting up they've got to do for these events is really quite phenomenal. There's a couple of different trees that they've got on display, then all of the lights and decorations. And there's little shops dotted around where you can get some snacks. Lots of people really just want hot drinks and things like donuts. And then they've got more scenes set up themed around the movies and television shows that they always put on during this 10-day holiday. And one of the cars parked right here. And then they've actually got some music playing from the movies as well. They've actually even got the pictures and scenes of some of the very famous holiday movies. These trees are really amazing. I think a lot of people, we're a little bit more cautious of the crowds when we're walking, that we forget to look up and enjoy the place that we've actually come to see because of how many people are here. They also have these little small concerts set up as well, with these actors singing some of their very famous Soviet songs, and they're encouraging everyone to sing along. It's always so nice to see everyone's faces because they know the movies and shows so well, and it's just everybody reminiscing. I always wonder about the people that are staying in the hotel right across from these markets. So they'd have quite a view from their window, but at the same time the crowds to get in and out of the hotel and the traffic, because cars still pull up to the main entrance there, and it's just a little bit more difficult to get in and out on days like this. Have a look at the decorations, and then these very big light structures that they put up all around the city as well. It's really very cool. I wonder who's paying the electricity bill for all of these lights that are on. There's literally thousands of them, and I hope it shows up in the video. Another tree here as well. So there is the market stalls at the same time, and then a lot of the different things that they've set up are designed around the holidays, and this particular market is themed around television and the movies. They create a new theme every year so that it creates a lot of interest. A lot of people can reminisce and then come and try to get photographs and try to get involved in the different things that they've set up and displayed for everybody. It really looks sometimes like everyone's just walking around with their phones, but a lot of people do come intentionally to the city for the events like this. Each of the times that I've come into the city to make these videos, I've invited my wife, and I always wonder why she rushes to say that she's happy to stay home and cook food and clean the house and watch the movies, because I think she's not a big fan of crowds like this and the amount of people that come into the city on days like today. Of course, the main thing is a lot of people are on holidays, and these are non-working days, and it's to be expected, especially in a big city like this. And I can understand why she keeps turning me down to come for a walk around the holiday markets here in Moscow. Despite all the crowds, it's still very nice to come and walk here. And Russia and Moscow is so historical, and all the buildings that surround the center of the city. They've also got a stage set up just off in the distance where they've got small concerts that they're holding with characters and sing-alongs, which is really nice. And then the trees as well. I think we're all busy walking around and missing these trees because we're not staring up at them. They are very beautiful though. My plan for this video wasn't to go and walk in Red Square because I've done other videos there already. The crowds just get a little bit busier once you get up to the main square. You can see the checkpoint just in front of us right here, and then the different corners of the Kremlin itself. So I might stick to my plan of the walking route that I organized in my head this afternoon and head off in another direction. You can see this market right here, and then the Four Seasons Hotel in the background. For anybody interested about the security checkpoints and the crowds, this is very normal on days like today and anytime that they do events in Red Square. And about 2 weeks from now, once everything dies down, they won't be the security checkpoints to head on in. It's literally just a few minutes. It's not really a big deal for most people. And just the sheer amount of people in the city, it also just slows down everybody's walking paths to get to some of the busier points. So this is very typical and very normal here in Moscow. I just want to say a big thank you to quite a lot of subscribers that have come up to me to say hello and take photos. If you see me walking around Moscow, please stop me and have a chat for a few minutes. And if you're watching the video and you met me today in Moscow, thanks for stopping and saying hello. My plan from here is to walk over towards where the Bolshoi Theater is. They've got lots of decorations set up there. In front of us here is metro station Ploschad Revolyutsii. Now this is Revolution Square. Here on the left-hand side, they do actually have an ice rink set up, but today it's not open for public skating. They've actually got some ice shows going on that you can get a ticket for. And then this is the permanent display that they've got set up year round. And this ride is completely free. Just have to brave the crowds. And the Bolshoi Theater is literally 2-minute walk from here. Maybe 3 minutes across the road. So let's slowly walk through this market and get on over there, shall we? I like this market a little bit more because it's a lot quieter and not as many people know about it. Although it's set up here year round, they do change the theme of this area depending on the season. More trees everywhere, all the decorations on them. Everything is completely untouched. You would think people would want to pick off the decorations, but they're not. They're all exactly how they were from about 2 weeks ago when they set everything up here. They've got all the different little cafes, mostly with hot food, so snacks and teas and coffees. And everybody just hanging out here. It's just much quieter this part than going over to Red Square, even though there's still crowds around. And then also this center part here with the barbecue in the middle. You can see all the sausages and meat that they're preparing. Very nice. I think I'll start my walk towards the Bolshoi Theater right here. they've got this very big light structure set up, and you can see the dancers from the Bolshoi on it right there. Super nice. And this square area here, and you can hear the music playing in the background. It's really quite interesting. And then you get something just like this in the very center of Moscow. And then we can see now in the background the world famous Bolshoi Theater and the buildings that surround this area. And they've got a lot of very nice light structures set up as well. They also put decorations in all the trees, and most buildings also do their own decorations at the same time, which just adds to the whole magic of walking in the center of Moscow on a day like today. What I wanted to do was wait for the crossing to change to green and do this walk across the road towards the Bolshoi Theater. And they're actually controlling the traffic lights today, which is very nice. We can see the very famous building itself. Off on the right is TSUM, which is one of the luxury shopping malls here in the center of Moscow. And then off in the distance there, Kuznetsky Mosque and Lubianka. Let's try and get across. The red man has already changed, but I think it will be good. And just have a look at all the decorations that they've got here in front of the theater. It's really very spectacular, as we've all made it across the road safely. Let's walk on towards the entrance of the theater. The crowds thin out very quickly, and everybody realizes which way to walk. The thing for me is I've done this walk thousands of times before. Of course, I haven't documented it on a video. I've done this walk myself. I've done it at different times of the year, and it really never gets old coming for this walk in the center of Moscow, and then to see the theater in the background and the famous horses up on the top of the building there. If you've ever seen the 100 ruble note in Russia, it's on that bill. Normally in summertime they've got fountains right here. Of course they're all switched off. But decorations are everywhere in the center of the square here. And it's just that little bit quieter as you get a little bit further away from Red Square. I always wonder when I'm filming if it looks the same on your TV screen at home or if you're watching on your phone, and just how grand these buildings are until you walk up a little bit closer to them. Just the sheer size of them. If you might have seen a replica somewhere or a Lego model, they don't really do it justice until you stand under them like this. And then to come for a walk through the central area in front of the theater with the lights and decorations. There's something magical, and it's really hard to describe when you try to do these videos, because of course there's lots of people and everybody wants to get photographs and, you know, enjoy the same feeling that I have. All of these light structures that they've got set up, and the trees, and everybody doing the same walking routes through the center of the city like I am. Just very beautiful to see. I always love how they decorate the TSUM department store. This is a very famous multi-level luxury shopping center in the very center of Moscow here. And if you're wondering about all of the brands that ever left Russia, you can walk right into this department store and definitely find them in there. It's an amazing shop to walk around. I've actually never made a video in there because I always feel a little bit underdressed. I always feel a little bit self-conscious going in there, although I really should. Everybody making their way towards Kuznetsky Mosque, which is where I'm going to go now. Lots of people want to stop right at this exact spot for the same photo like I did, because it's just such a amazing view from this corner right here. Almost every lane in the center of Moscow is decorated in some way, and as you walk around you end up discovering other streets that you may not have walked around before. And there's of course a lot of things to see coming here in the center. All these light structures that they set up and decorations and all of the trees that they brought in. It's really quite phenomenal. And the amount of people as well. Of course, everybody wants a photograph. I mean, that's absolutely normal. And the same as I'm doing, walking around. Not too sure about the train in the middle of the city here, but very nice to see what the reference is, because we're nowhere near a train station, but they put them here. I didn't actually plan to walk up this street as part of the video. The last 2 days I had a plan of where I wanted to walk and try to go to different places that I hadn't been before, so I can make new interesting videos. And I do want to walk on the next lane over from this one, so it's actually kind of handy to walk through. Just setting up all of these trees and lights, you'd have to think it's a couple of weeks to do this, and then to take it all down afterwards. You can hear some music playing, and there's even a guy doing a sing-along right here on his own. Very nice. There is actually shops and restaurants all along these streets. However, we're all here to see the lights and the decorations and just feel in that Christmas mood here in Moscow. I would really love to remember the name of this lane that I'm walking down. If anybody is from Moscow and can let me know in the comments what the name of this lane is. Lots of cafes and bars here. I think that's what most people generally walk here for, except on days like this where they've got all the decorations and lights set up, and it runs down the entire road all the way back down the lane. There is also some different statues, I think honoring different people. I just don't remember the name, I'm sorry. A couple of girls doing some TikTok dances right here. And just generally, lots of people walking around with friends and family, just enjoying the evening here in Moscow. Although everybody's looking like they're super rugged up, it isn't really as cold as it probably looks. I think depending on where you're from in the world, how you interpret cold weather. And it's very nice to walk around this evening. This is the lane that I wanted to walk down, and for a few reasons. One, because they've got beautiful decorations, and two, this is the well-known street with all of the luxury brands that have claimed to have left Russia the Prada store right here, which looks as pristine as ever. And then on the right hand side is the Louis Vuitton store, which has stood here for the last 3 years, looking tidy and clean. Just the lights aren't on. And then they've got all sorts of decorations as I try to walk down this street. I've been trying patiently to get a photograph for the last quite a few minutes, but it's been difficult. But they've decorated this whole street, and this street was very famous for all of the luxury brands that were on either side of this laneway, and now a lot of them have claimed to have left. However, you can see a lot of the signage and lights on. I think a lot of them have very long leases and agreements to keep their stores here in Russia. They've got a pop-up shop, it looks like, here, with all of the Christmas decorations. This is really nice. Looks like something that would be in London. Just these colors and the actual building itself. I was hoping it might be a little bit quieter walking down here, but I think a lot of people know the secret to coming to this lane to take in all of the decorations. This building right here has just been built, and there's actually a few levels on the top which I think will be eventually apartments, and they've just got video walls for the entrance right now, which is really rather spectacular. The only thing we're missing is some snow on the ground. You can maybe just hear the speakers playing all of the music. You can see another one of the brands. So if they've left, it seems very interesting that they've all got stock in the windows, the lights are all on. This is one of the jewelry shops on the left-hand side. For the holidays and right now, a lot of shops will choose not to be open because this is a holiday in Russia. And then some shops will choose to trade. And actually, no matter where you are in Russia, even my local shop in my building has been closed for quite a lot of days because the owner chooses to let the staff enjoy the holidays just like I am. This is exactly why I wanted to come and walk here, to see this street and enjoy just somewhere a little bit quieter and a few less people. And every store is decorated in some way, and it's just so nice. All of the trees with the lights on, and then these very large structures that they built over the laneway here as well. The one thing I'm always curious about is where they store all of this. Now, of course, all the trees are grown seasonally, but there must be a warehouse somewhere that's just got floor-to-ceiling lights and decorations somewhere. There must be so many warehouses tucked away somewhere in Moscow region where they store everything. A lot of this stuff is reused as well. It's not new every year. Of course, the trees that you see are brought in specially, but otherwise they upcycle quite a fair bit of it. One store that is closed here is Dior. Now, what they've done is they put paneling on the windows to not let you see inside, and this is how it's looked for close to 2 years. They've got also these shops that they've set up, and this is one of them in front of us here, which is this big Christmas ornament in the shape with the like the ball of string, if that's right. And the actual shops are made in Moscow shops. So all the things that they're selling in them have to be local products. And then we come to the famous TSUM department store, and this is the main entrance. In all the years I've lived here, I've never seen a car come up and down this path to go into the main store. There is another one of these made in Moscow shops that they put up. These are all over Moscow right now, and it's an initiative by the government to encourage local brands and local designers. And they're given a very great spot in the center of the city and in the different parks. And what they've set up here is these trees, and how very interesting they are. I think also lots of people here taking photos as well. And all of the trees have different themes. It's just a matter of trying to decide what the themes are as you walk through. Again, it's all designed around the TV and movies in Russia. They are really very beautiful trees. It's a lot of work and a lot of times put into decorating these. Very beautiful, really and truly. I think me walking through, you maybe don't get that feeling of the amount of work that goes into them. And the different designs that they've created. Of course, we can see again all the crowds that were over in Red Square have come over here. This is very well advertised, these events that are going on. So a lot of people know to come here. And we'll actually see right here Ded Moroz and his granddaughter Snegurishka. And lots of people, of course, want a photograph. It's a little bit difficult to get as close as I'd like. They even decorate the buildings behind as well, which is really nice. You can see why everybody comes out to Moscow on days like today to enjoy things like this. Just the amount of work that goes into setting it up. I wonder if this is themed around the Moscow circus. It does kind of look like it. As I'm standing here, I almost don't know where to look and try to make sure that I give justice to this area that they've set up with all of the trees, all the different themes. And the one thing again I'll talk about is people don't grab anything off them, they don't want to damage them, they don't want to take one of the decorations home. People respect the displays that have been set up. And I think that's something that's very much missed around the world. The different trees. And everybody is literally trying to dodge each other, trying to take the photographs. It seems like every tree that you come to, there's a line for photographs. And I will do my best to not say anything about all of the different people taking pictures, because I got lots of comments on a previous video where I pointed that out. Just have a look from here how many people are walking around and how many people are here in the center of Moscow. It's really probably one of the busiest days that you'll get in Moscow all year, coming into the city today. As we slowly reach the end of the video, we've got a couple more spots to see, and this is the main one that I wanted to come to see also. And this is Kuznetsky Most Street. And if I've said it wrong, I'm sorry. I've said it the same way for years and years. You can see the snowman with his woolly hat on. This is a very beautiful street to walk up and down any time of year. They've got the cobblestones very similar to what they've got in Red Square. You can actually just hear the Russian music playing on the speakers. The ladies enjoying some snacks. And again, all of these different decorations. If there's ever a competition for a country with people wanting to take photos and selfies, Russia would have to be up there with some of the other countries if there was a list. What makes this place very beautiful is this cobblestone path that you walk up. There's always lots of buskers that play here, and then the buildings on the sides of this pathway, just stunning. It's probably hard to hear right now where I'm standing. There is a few different buskers playing. Just down the way there's a gentleman playing the violin, and if YouTube wasn't so cruel with the demonetizing of videos with music playing, I would absolutely include it in the video. And he's playing some very classical Russian music as we pan around. See just how beautiful some of these buildings are. And there is so much history in the center of Moscow, and the amount of people who come out for walks just like this, like I'm doing on an evening like tonight. And this is how people enjoy Christmas in Russia, coming for walks with family and friends and just enjoying the city and all the things that the government's put on show for this time of year and displays that they've set up. Just amazing. And I think everybody goes home with a smile on their face, even if they've had to put up with crowds for a few minutes here and there. It's just beautiful. On somebody's blog post that I read recently, they said this color of the bear here resembles Tiffany. And perhaps if you're from Moscow, if you can let me know maybe what it does reference and whether it is Tiffany or not. It's definitely that color and that theme, and I'm not too sure. And then in one of the buildings they've got this video wall set up, and I didn't notice on the other street what they were doing, but they've got these animated cartoons that show every few minutes, and whoever set this up really needs a medal or some praise and recognition. The entire windows of the building are video screens, and I think even I didn't notice that on the other building. And they've got some music playing and just some holiday decorations. That's just amazing. This is slowly where I'm going to end the video here. My metro station is just off to the left-hand side, which is Lubianka metro station. They've got all of the decorations going down the whole street as well. And this traditionally isn't a street that people perhaps know so well, but they've set up trees here also, and then all the shops are decorated at the same time. And then if you are a long-time watcher of the channel, you might know that I've made videos in Globus. Now I will be making another video which will come out on the channel soon. They've set up a Globus cafe here in the center of Moscow. And this opened literally a few days ago. And it's a replica of the cafe that they've got at the hypermarkets. So stay tuned for a video on that. And I think it might be interesting to see what a supermarket cafe looks like in the center of the city. I really hope you've enjoyed this video tonight or today, depending on when you're watching it and me filming it right now. I had this intentional route planned around the center of Moscow and then ending right at my station right here on the left hand side. My wife used to work at a company just up the street from here, so I know this place incredibly well. The amount of times that I used to meet her after work and come home through the metro station on the left hand side, I probably can't even count anymore. And it's just a beautiful place to come walking, even when it's not Christmas Day like it is today here in Russia. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That'll be really nice. And post a comment and let me know where you're watching from and perhaps how your city is decorated for the holidays or for Christmas. And do they go to that much effort? And I'm only here in the center of the city. I should perhaps walk around my own town and show it. They've got decorations set up there as well. And all throughout Moscow and all of the different squares and main streets, decorations are put up, and all thanks to the local administration for doing that. It's really nice that we can all come out and enjoy it just like this. If you want to follow me on Telegram, my channel link is coming up right now. You can click that and join me over there. And then if you'd like to see an old video, something completely different, there'll be one coming up for you now, and you can keep traveling with Russell. Okay, everybody. I'm off on another adventure. Bye.